Okay, folks, we are going to learn how to deadlift today. Coach Steph is going to guide us through our warm-up to start. So we're doing our inchworms first. You're starting standing tall, coming into your forward fold to bring your hands down onto the ground, and then walk your hands forward to find a nice strong plank position. Then you're going to walk your hands back in towards your feet and then stand up again. So as we come into our forward fold, we're trying to find a nice stretch down the back line of the legs. And as we walk forward into our plank, we're finding that strong plank position. So pressing into the hands, nice long line from the crown of our head straight through to our heels. Here we go, one last time, plank, and then walking back in to stand up tall. Now we're going to bring our hands down onto the ground, keep our hips nice and high, almost like you're in a downward dog, and then we're going to pedal out the feet. So you're again going to bend one knee and then the other, alternating bringing your heel towards the ground. So even if your heel doesn't quite connect, you're just intending the heel heavy to get that stretch down the backs of the ankles and the calves. Next, we're going to come into a hip hinge, so spine nice and long as we hinge forward from the hips, and then coming down into a deep squat, keeping your heels planted. So hip hinge, squat, bringing the hips down, coming back into that hinge position, and then coming to stand up tall. Keeping your glutes engaged here to keep your low back feeling nice and supported. And if your squat's not as low as Steph's, that's totally fine. Just find a squat that you feel really strong and controlled in, keeping your heels planted. Woo. Then we're going to come into our 90-90 stretch. So sitting on the ground, bend both knees at about 90 degrees. We'll start by folding towards the right knee here. So we're tipping forward from the hips, forward folding towards the knee or the calf, whatever's feeling available here. You can always bring yoga blocks if you'd like underneath your forearms, or even stay a little taller up on your hands. And then we're going to take that 90-90 position over towards the left side. So again, both knees bent at about 90 degrees, knees about in line with our hips, hinging forward from the hips towards the left leg this time. Just take some nice, easy breaths here, finding a stretch that feels good on the left side. All right, we're going to sit up nice and tall. Set up your feet on the ground a little wider than your hips with your knees nice and bent. You can bring your hands to the ground behind you for these windshield wiper movements with the knees. So you're taking your knees from right to left. What we're doing here is bringing the hips into internal and external rotation. Next, you're going to come into your table position or coming onto hands and knees. We'll move through our cat-cow. You'll notice Steph here is bringing that movement along the entire length of the spine. So she's not just isolating the movement from the low back or the lumbar spine. She's really focusing on segmenting along the length of the spine as she comes into her back bend, and then rounding the spine, so tucking the tailbone and drawing her chin in towards her chest. These can feel really good, so maybe just close your eyes and flow at your own pace, warming up the entire length of the spine, keeping the breath nice and easy. We're going to come into a lunge, so we'll step our left foot forward to the outside of our hand first. If you need some cushioning underneath that right knee, you can place a pillow or a blanket there. Hands can stay on the ground like Steph is doing, or take some blocks underneath the hands if you'd like. And then Steph's going to bring in this rotation, so she's tucking her left elbow down towards her ankle, or maybe the inside of your knee if you'd like. And then twisting open to the left, reaching your left arm up towards the sky. And then finishing with a nice hamstring stretch by straightening out that left leg, sending your hips back towards your right heel. right, let's switch to the opposite side. So right foot's gonna step up towards the outside of the right hand. We've got our lunge to start. Nice, easy breaths. And then bringing in our rotation, so right elbow tucks down towards the ground, and then we twist open to the right, creating that nice long line from hand to hand as we reach our right arm up to the sky. Once we've completed a few rotations, we'll extend the right leg out just any amount to find a nice gentle stretch down the back of the leg, sending our hips towards the direction of our left heel this time. All right, there you have it. We are done warming up for our deadlifts. Now that we are all warmed up, it is time to deadlift. So Steph is going to warm up using the empty bar to start. If you are brand new to deadlifts, you might choose to do this with a broomstick or something even a bit lighter than the empty bar. So you're gonna start standing so that the bar is just over the balls of your feet. Your feet should be about shoulder width apart. To grab a hold of the bar, you're gonna come into a squat position with your hands just outside your knees or slightly wider than shoulder width apart. As you bend forward, your hips should end up slightly above your knees with your thighs about parallel to the ground. To activate your lats, think about bending the bar in half or breaking the bar apart while keeping your back straight. Brace and push the ground away, keeping your hips and shoulders coming up at the same time. And then lock out the knees by standing straight up tall at the top. After you're done, bring the bar back down to the ground in a nice controlled fashion. So Steph is going to demo again with plates on the bar this time. So you'll see that the bar is now starting at about mid-shin. Same placement for the feet. She's coming into that squat position, so hips are higher than her knees as she hinges forward from her hips. You can see there that she's thinking about breaking the bar in half, so you've got that activation in the lats and upper back, pressing into the feet to stand up nice and tall, locking out the knees at the top of that deadlift. We're going to switch to side view here so you can see the same movements from a different perspective. So you'll see as Steph comes down to grab the hold of the bar, she's keeping her spine in that nice long neutral position. As she tips forward from the hips, she's sending her hips back in space, bending her knees, but her hips are staying higher than her knees. And then she's pressing through the feet to stand up nice and tall, stacking our hips over our knees, shoulders over her hips, looking nice and strong and controlled as she comes through that deadlift movement. All right, here we go. Time to work out. So the workout that we're going to be doing is 3 rounds. You're doing 5 deadlifts, keeping your form on point, just like we've been doing this entire time. After your 5 deadlifts, let's come into 10 lunges. So that's 10 lunges total. 5 per leg, stepping back to bring that back knee to hover above the ground, standing nice and tall, so shoulders over hips. And then after those 10 lunges, we're gonna do 10 burpees. So there's lots of different modifications for these burpees. Instead of jumping forward and jumping back, you can always step forward and then step back. You can also take your hands onto an elevated surface instead of bringing them all the way down onto the ground each time. Try and get through those 10 burpees as quickly as you can. All right, nice work, Steph. We're going back into those deadlifts. So hands nice and wide, hinge forward from the hips, 5 deadlifts. So 3, 4, 5. After the deadlifts, put the bar down. You've got your 10 lunges. Here we go. And then everyone's favorite, we've got 10 burpees. The faster you get them done, the sooner they are over. Push through those 10 burpees. 1 round left after this round. Okay, as we come into our last round, let's see if you can beat Steph. Go a little bit faster than her, because then you can brag about it. So we're going to start with those 5 deadlifts when you're ready. Deadlifts done. 5 lunges. Let's go. 5 lunges per side, sorry. 10 total. All right. Once we're done our lunges, 10 burpees. Then you are done for the day. Deadlifts done. Workout done. All right, finishing this up nice and strong. Good work, everyone. Good work, Steph.